Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday, terrific Tuesday. This is May Motivation Month, Coffee with Todd, and today is an exceptional opportunity for us to have a very, very cool conversation with a very, very cool top originator. Her name is Kristin Hanson. Kristin, welcome to Coffee with Todd. Good to have you.
Hi, thanks, Todd. Happy to be here.
Yeah. No, we're going to have a fun time today, guys. I want to say hi to all our friends at Loan Depot. Kristin is a Loan Depot loan originator, and she and I have known each other for quite a while. She, last year, just to put everything in perspective, last year funded 180 units for just shy of $62 million. Year to date, through April, she has funded 66 units for about $22 million. Her current pipeline, 69 units for $20 million. And she is among the elite in customer satisfaction, scoring 100% on all of her surveys. So it's awesome. She's been a coaching member for 2 years. And I got to tell you, the other thing impressive about Kristin is that not only has she just been named top 1% originator in the country by Scotsman's Guide, she has done this by moving her mortgage practice 3 times from California to Texas to Florida. So, and you're still standing, smiling, and you are a top producer.
Yeah, that's
a
wild ride.
So you went through a shift, and I think the shift was you got permission to go big. Talk about the shift, talk about what you went through, because everybody, I think, at some point deals with the idea of what am I thinking? You know, how am I thinking about my business? How big am I thinking the business can be? When do I finally get permission to seize my potential?
Right. So actually, I feel like my shifts have come from the initial one when I first started in the business was through the Sales Mastery event when Hal Elrod was speaking. That was one shift that happened with me. And then, but the most recent one was when I went to Sales Academy, and there are people there that have been devoted to the high trust coaching method, and they simply just follow the instructions rather than trying to reinvent the wheel. They just get the tools, study it, practice it, and then implement it. And the success, the growth is exponential. It's not like you go from level 1 to level 2, like you shoot up. And just seeing that and seeing multiple people with all sorts of different personalities and characteristics and different areas in the world that they live, all accomplishing this amazing feat of being such a high producer, was like, okay, well then why am I not in that group? There isn't a reason for me not to have that success as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's permission to succeed. It was like yesterday I talked about belief, right? And what do you believe? And if you're on live right now on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, just hit the live comment section. If you want to ask any questions as we kind of motor through this, feel free to post those questions. I think what Kristin has experienced and what everybody needs to experience beyond just the kind of easy market we're in right now with low rates is permission to succeed. And I know that you hit that on very different levels. You hit permission to succeed for yourself personally. You hit that for permission to succeed with your partners differently, your builders and your realtors. But if you think back to, you said to Hope and me one time, if they can do it, so can I. Just talk about that psychology. How do you get that permission to go from where you were to now a top 1% originator in the country?
Well, I think I'm very competitive by nature, and I've been in a long competition with my brother. He's not playing; I'm the only one playing. But so I knew I had these goals and these things that I wanted to do. And then when I start coaching, obviously I hear stories and firsthand experience of people who were just like me, even newer than me, and surpassing me. And it's kind of like, wait, like why? What is it? And it's just the simple tools that you guys provide, and then the accountability piece of hoping, okay, you're gonna call this many people by the time we talk next, and you're going to implement this part of the script, and we're going to go from there. And I personally cannot get on a phone call with Hope and be like, hey, I didn't do what I, agreed to do. I can't, that isn't in me to do that. So it kind of just, all the things came together and I took the action, and then the pieces just fell into place. Which is what everybody says happens, for them once they started doing everything. So it just was a matter of just saying, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm either all in, or I'm just going to get out.
Yeah. So, high trust selling is a very prescriptive program. No matter what year we're in, high trust selling is always what works for people. People in any high priced transaction, like buying a home, selling a home, financing a home, always value trust over price. The emotional economic considerations that we all have to create with our consumers, whether they're buyers, sellers, purchasers, it is of paramount importance. So it never changes. What changes is whatever's happening in the world and how trust is influenced, good or bad, and how the originator or the realtor or them as a partnership really create that kind of embedded trust with a customer. And I know that you used to have an attitude that you would kind of take every deal, right? And you needed the business, and you've shifted, and talk about that shift, and talk about the accountability that coaching gave you to make that shift.
Well, Hope would tell me that I have to fire realtors. And again, when I have instruction to do something, it's really hard for me to not do it. But I was getting really burned out. And obviously, like, the business was increasing, which was great. And prior to the increase in business, it was hard for me to turn anything down because, I'm like, wait, I got to get every deal. I got to do everything, But once I got like that steady flow going with the realtors that I'd kind of picked and the builders, then I was able to say, the refinance boom is happening, but there's some past clients that were really difficult and almost mean in a sense. And it's like, I'm probably not going to reach out and work with them again because of, we both just had not the best experience. For me, it was tumultuous. Or with realtors who, are just a mess and throwing things at me and when are we closing? And it's like, I don't want to work with that anymore. And I'm fortunate now that I have a pipeline where I can say, I don't need that deal to pay my mortgage anymore. So I'm not, for the benefit of just my sanity, I'm not going to play that game.
Yeah.
And I've been able to sort of set that boundary.
So this is a very interesting dialogue for everybody that's watching from Facebook, YouTube Live, LinkedIn, and Instagram. We're talking about boundaries. We're actually talking about it's okay to say no to people that are raining on your parade that make it difficult for you to do your business. And I got this quote from Warren Buffett yesterday. He says, "You will continue to suffer if you have an emotional reaction to everything that is said to you from the people that you don't necessarily like. True power is sitting back and observing things with magic. True power is restraint. If words and people control you, that means everyone else will control you. Take a breath and allow things to pass. Set your boundary, set your margin." And that's what you've done. You've put boundaries on people, and you've said no to people that consume you and consume your heart and your energy. And that is, I think, one of the telltale signs of a mature business practice. Let's talk about builders and what you're doing there. And then let's talk about, you had a recent experience with a realtor that I think is very interesting to share with everybody, because it would be counterintuitive for most people.
Right. Okay. So builders, I prefer builder business. That's always been, that ever since I got introduced to it, that's been something that I like. Mainly because a lot of the high trust values and the core structure of that go so hand in hand with builder relationships, because I would prefer to work with a smaller number of people that I know, like, and trust versus, anybody and everybody that's out there. So I really, I got a great opportunity in Texas and in Florida to work with different builders. And once that kind of got set up, I was able to build that relationship. And now these the two saleswomen are, we talk every day and we're friends, and we would hang out outside of it, out of, just selling. And these are people that I spend so much time with that I am happy to do it, rather than I'm not getting to see my friends, but I'm getting to see my friends still, because now that's what they've become. So
when you talk about the COVID-19 situation with the builder, I think it was kind of interesting.
Well, they did not pause selling. So I used to go sit at the track with them on, the weekends. And then I have an assistant that would sit there during the week as well. But with COVID, I've had some issues with my health in the past. And so it's something that I'm taking very seriously for myself, to stay home. So I'm not able to sit there and have that, continue to grow that relationship and foster that. But instead, the owner of the company, who's very, very distinguished man in the builder business and worked for various companies and now runs this company, decided he would start a Zoom call every Monday with me and my assistant and the sales staff. And we just kind of jumped on that. And now that's part of our routine, is all of us going through the pipeline together. And it's a very true partnership, making sure that we're all on the same page with our clients and that they're okay and that they're not being affected, or if they are, what can we do to help them?
Yeah.
And it kind of was just a natural transition that has been great, because now I get to have this relationship with the owner as well, not just the sales staff who I've been spending most of my time with.
Yeah. I think one of the things I'm reminded, I see Teresa Odette on live right now on Facebook Live, and she was the first person that I reached out to when we decided to start High Trust Coaching. And I think when I think about Teresa and I think about your relationship with Hope and High Trust Coaching, and then what you're saying right now, I think everybody needs to be reminded that you grow the business you want and you grow the life you want, no matter what market you're in, by being in the market uniquely and innovatively. I mean, you and I, everybody has a chance to innovate around how they use disruption, how they use, challenges that they didn't expect having, like this lockdown, all the things that kind of stack up and come into that. We all get to make choices on how we use innovation and how we use breakdowns as breakthroughs. And I think you've done that exceptionally well. The one thing I think I'm seeing in you is you have developed the confidence to know what to say yes to and what to say no to, not only in activity, but in people. And you made a comment that being able to say no is priceless. That's not normal for most people to get that. So what does priceless mean to you? And what has happened since you have learned to balance the who you say yes to and who you say no to? Because I think there's a realtor example that I think really is powerful.
Right. Well, first of all, just peace of mind for me. So, I used to think if I was the person that answered the call or did the pre-qual at 9:30 on a Sunday night, I would win, the business, and but that was making me exhausted and frustrated and disliking my job versus setting boundaries for my mental health and my family and all that kind of stuff. So I just, recently I had a real estate agent call, send an email first saying that he wanted to do a MSA, a marketing service agreement. And that's totally fine. I've done those before. I've done Zillow, everything before. I mean, I've done all that stuff, but I personally don't do that now. And the way, I know it's different for every company, but for me, the best service I can do for my clients and my realtor partners is make a certain basis point percentage to give a very competitive rate. And that's how I choose to do my business. Give my client the best. I never want to lose to rate. And I want to do every deal that's offered to me. So when he asked me about doing an MSA, I said, I am happy to explore in my branch and see if there's another loan officer that would be a good fit for you. But that's just personally, for me, not something that I do. And at first he was like, you don't want to work with me? And I was like, that is not what I said. I said, I enjoy working with you. I think we are doing a lot of good stuff. However, if you are looking for a financial, relationship with a lending partner, I don't think that I'm the best fit because I just don't do those. And the result was, I felt very good about, holding my position, and I was okay with him telling me, okay, then I'm going to find someone else. I had no attachment to his reaction. And instead he said, well, I really like working with you, so I'd really like to still do that. And I was like, okay, great.
Yeah.
I mean,
so I think there's two things going on right now. I'm in the midst of writing this program called Connect, and it's a 16-hour program. It's responsive to what we're doing in the market today. And I think one of the things that people don't do, Kristin, is they don't make the decisions and trust themselves in those decisions like they need to. And I guess I would like to give everybody watching live and anybody who watches the replays on this, I'd like to give you permission to trust your gut and trust your instinct, and decide what you want your business and your life to look like. We're in the midst of a season of interest rates that we've never seen in this business before. Everybody's busy, and it's not licensed to give up your boundaries and to lower your walls. And it's even more important, a chance to strengthen the business boundaries that you want to have, and to make clear and just obvious that this is how I do my business. And don't be afraid of what you lose. Be afraid of what you're not gaining by not being strong about what you want. And this is for every realtor watching, every lender, every manager watching. You got to decide what you want, and then you got to trust that, right? Because if you don't trust yourself, you can't trust anybody. That's kind of what I found. Your thoughts on that?
So I feel like this reminds me of some of the things that, have been talked about with high trust, is that the people that you end up working with are the people that you are meant to work with. There's a reason there's a good flow. There's a reason they keep coming, you keep doing deals with the same person. There's it's not such a, push and pull and fight to connect, keep going. It's, you do your job well, I do my job well. This is a good system, and so I've kind of learned to, with that kind of theory, just the people that are going to say, well, then fine, I'm leaving, I'm going to find another lender that's willing to do MSA. It's okay. Like, let it go, because there are plenty of people out there that aren't, and that's the other thing with this business. There are about 700 realtors per individual lender. So there are plenty of, fish in the sea, and there's plenty of business for all of us.
Yep.
And it's okay. It's not.
I love that. I love that attitude. Love that attitude. Okay. So you're averaging just shy of 6 million in fundings a month this year. Tell us the one thing that you are doing to balance your pipeline and your life.
I would really say it's the boundaries. I stopped answering the phone after a certain time at night and replying to emails or pre-qualifying people. If I say I'm going to take the day off, I'm taking the day off. And I never did that. I would be on vacation in Thailand sending emails, while my husband was, playing with the elephants. And I'd be like, I got it, and I just am not, that is not what life is about for me anymore, and after going through some of the health stuff that I've had, it's like, I'm only here once. I want to enjoy this.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, we're going to continue our conversation with Kristin offline, and we're going to do about another 20 minutes of dialogue with her. I want to just remind all of you lenders that are on right now, invite every realtor you can to join Thursday's call. We are showcasing a dear friend of mine. His name is Jim Moore. He is the personification of a high performance realtor running a high trust business. And he and I are going to spend about 20 minutes together unpacking what does it look like today when a lender and an agent work together in a seamless, symphonic, symbiotic, well-oiled machine It's going to blow your mind. So if you're a lender, invite every realtor you can to Coffee with Todd on Thursday. We're going to feature my friend from Kentucky, Jim Moore. Thank you, Kristin, for being on. Thanks all you guys for signing up. And always Monday through Friday, Coffee with Todd, 9 o'clock, same channel every single day for the month of May. And we wish you well as you lock onto the motivation you need to be your best. Kristin, once again, you're a rock star. Thank you so much. We're out till tomorrow, guys.
Bye.